Seeing them on TV.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Well, tell me, what's the latest news from Nashville?
Well, you know about Charlie Daniels, you know, taking a day job and everything like that, selling stuff.
That's what I heard.
They sang about heartbreak, whiskey, and home. But behind the curtain, these country legends had secrets far wilder. From toe-kissing to velvet ropes and candle-lit rituals, their private cravings were stranger than any song they ever wrote. These aren't rumors. These are 21 real stories, some stunning, some sweet, all unforgettable. Join us as we unveil these private cravings. Number 21. Tom T. Paul. Tom T. Paul was adored by numerous individuals for his music that seemed like small narratives set to music. His songs made people dance, cry, and treasure his lyrics. Although the public loved his songs, there was another side to Tom that very few people were aware of. Behind his charming smile and stage presence, there was a more private aspect to him. A secret journal written in a language known only to him. This mysterious journal was unlike typical ones that typically document memories of events or lists of supporters. Each page contained unfamiliar symbols, markings, and indications. He chose not to disclose their meanings, not even to his dearest companions. Some speculated that these symbols represented his innermost desires, thoughts too intimate or sensitive to voice. He kept the journal on his person at all times, concealed within a simple brown casing. Whether passing time at airports or relaxing beside a peaceful lake with a fishing pole, he would extract the diary and jot down notes without ever glancing around to check for onlookers. After Tom T. passed away, people were eager to read his writings. Researchers and admirers wished to discover unpublished songs or hidden poems. Number 20. Johnny Cash. Johnny Cash had a unique way of collecting souvenirs different from others. Despite his tough appearance and serious tone, he had a strange habit known only to those close to him. Instead of collecting fan letters or traditional gifts after concerts, Johnny gathered delicate pieces of women's clothing.
Union Avenue, and they were doing fairly well. Son had not.
He would carefully tuck them away in guitar cases labeled spare strings for safekeeping. When Johnny was traveling between shows on a long and quiet road, he would open up one of his cases. His fingers would touch the soft fabrics inside, and he would softly hum new songs, drawing inspiration from the memories stitched into the silk. The cases became heavier, not from strings or tuners, but from the hidden stories of the places he had visited and the people he had met. Number 19. Whan Jennings. Whan Jennings did not need to be in the spotlight to feel alive. While many singers gave their best performances in the recording booth, Whan often saved the most exciting moments for after the recording session was finished.
Yeah, my mama and my aunts got mad at me because they thought nobody in Littlefield.
The studio was meant to be a place of work, with sound checks and engineers adjusting knobs quietly. However, when Whan was there, things often took a different turn. The next morning, engineers would find evidence of a wild night. Microphone stands knocked over, cables tangled, and lipstick stains on drinking glasses. The recording booth, normally used for vocals and harmonies, seemed to come alive after hours. Whispers of gossip circulated constantly. Some people claimed that Whan used the recording booths for activities other than singing. With the door shut and the lights dimmed, he would bring in fans not to talk about music, but for more intimate encounters. While everyone believed he was working on new songs in there, something entirely different was happening behind the soundproof glass.
Seeing them on TV.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Well, tell me, what's the latest news from Nashville?
Well, you know about Charlie Daniels, you know, taking a day job and everything like that, selling stuff.
That's what I heard.
Occasionally, these private moments would accidentally make their way into unfinished recordings, soft laughter, hushed words, and conversations not meant for public ears. Producers had to carefully edit these out, ensuring that any evidence of what truly happened in the studio shadows was erased. Whan had a tough image on stage, but that was only a small part of his true self. The real intensity and wildness came out in private after the show and interviews, and when the fans had left. Maybe it was the long hours on the road, the smell of gasoline, or the sound of tires on the highway. Number 18. George Jones. George Jones had a voice that resonated with people and a deep passion for music that exceeded mere popularity. While other artists sought out large audiences and flashy performances, George was more interested in a personal and intimate connection with his music. His profound love for music felt like a hidden sanctuary that only he could access. Music was not just a peripheral aspect of his life. It was intricately woven into every fiber of his being. George stayed awake late at night when everyone else was sleeping, and he would often pick up the phone. Instead of talking, he liked to listen. His ex-wives remembered how he would ask them to sing lullabies or recite old song lyrics softly. It did not matter where they were. George did not require a formal setting to be moved by their voices. Tour buses were parked outside of old motels, while George sat on the floor inside with his eyes closed, listening to music on his phone. He wasn't focused on the singer, but rather on the music itself. He found peace in the soft voices, allowing them to transport him away from the chaos of fame and stress. A woman who used to be in a relationship with George remembered something special. George kept recordings of their phone conversations and would listen to them when he was driving alone at night. It felt like a private concert just for him, with no audience or bright lights. Just his voice, a song, and a feeling that only he could truly grasp. Number 17. Doolittle, Loretta Lynn's husband. Just a few feet away from the bright stage lights, Doolittle, Loretta Lynn's husband, preferred to sit behind the curtain. Despite not being a singer or musician, he would request a chair in a spot where he could observe everything. While he claimed he wanted to listen to the stage sound, those close to him suspected he had other reasons for wanting to be there. He wasn't at the event for the music, but rather to see Loretta. He paid close attention to every move she made on stage, especially when her dress sparkled in the light. His eyes lit up with excitement every time she took a bow at the end of a performance. The crew also observed this. They would quietly joke about the fact that he judged a successful performance not by the audience's applause, but by the goosebumps on his arms. If the night had been particularly special, with Loretta dancing longer or hitting a note more passionately, Doolittle would exit the stage shaking. But it did not end there. After the applause faded, he would hurry backstage. He was eager to talk to her about the performance, to relive the moments that only he had witnessed from his secluded spot. Number 16. Tammy Wette. Tammy Wette always had a radiant presence that never faded. Instead of finding solace in solitude, Tammy had her methods of feeling secure. Prior to allowing others into her inner circle, she made sure that the image they saw of her was nothing short of the beloved country queen her fans adored. She meticulously styled her honey blonde hair, perfectly curled her eyelashes, and ensured that every rhinestone on her outfit shimmered under bright lights. Even in the confines of hotel rooms, she made sure to keep the lamps lit, transforming private spaces into illuminated platforms. Some people may find it odd, but Tammy thought it was important. She wasn't just preparing herself, she was safeguarding something vulnerable within her. The timid girl from the farm she used to be did not feel confident enough to be in the spotlight alone. That's why she hid that part of herself under layers of makeup, elegance, and resilience. Her makeup chair wasn't just a spot to get ready, it was where she could gradually transform into the person she wanted to be, not only for others, but for the ones who held a place in her heart. Tabloids talked positively about her, describing her as gentle and sweet. But beyond her glamorous appearance, she had to be assertive and sharp in a male-dominated industry that did not value softness. In the world of country music, men were in control, and Tammy understood that sometimes a woman's only advantage was her allure. Number 15. Conway Twitty. Conway Twitty loved charm and always carried it with him. He did not just stay at hotels like everyone else, he transformed them. Before he even arrived in certain towns on tour, his assistant would set up velvet curtains, fake candles, and beautiful prints of Paris streets in the hotel room. When Conway finally arrived, the room looked more like a cozy hideaway in France than a typical hotel suite. When Conway invited someone in, often offering a glass of champagne, it wasn't just a hello, but an invitation to a fantasy world. He would smile and lead guests into a fictional Parisian setting, allowing them to escape reality for a night. The ambiance, the atmosphere, the warmth, all combined to make something enchanting. As night turned into day, the hotel cleaners would come and the dream would end. But Conway did not care. He enjoyed the fantasy while it lasted because it felt magical to him. That specific moment was the most important part. Number 14. Patty Clean. On the stage, Patty Clean seemed like the nicest country song ever written. Her voice was like a gentle breeze, comforting and familiar, making everyone feel secure and cared for. However, when the music ended and the lights dimmed, Patty showed a different side that only her close friends knew and understood. She walked confidently behind closed doors in her denim outfits, which weren't just for show. They reflected her strong self-assurance. An ex-lover once observed how she would confidently enter a room with a mischievous sparkle in her eyes and a firm step in her boots. She did not seek validation from others. Instead, she playfully gave commands with a teasing smile, turning it into a game where she always emerged victorious. Patty disliked disorder. She preferred to have control over things, but not in an aggressive manner. She was more like a well-tuned guitar, calm and harmonious. If things weren't going the way she wanted, she would make changes to align them with her preferences. Patty carried a combination of gentleness and power wherever she went. Even after the attention shifted away, others gossiped about it. To many, Patty was more than just a country singer. She was a puzzling figure intertwined with music, displaying both a delicate and strong side. Number 13, Mel Tillis. Mel Tillis was not only a famous country singer known for his charming smile and laughter, but he also had a secret collection of costumes in a cedar trunk that revealed a different side of him. This trunk held outfits that allowed him to transform into various characters, from a preacher to a jovial Santa Claus with jingling sleigh bells. He did not dress up just for fun, he truly embraced each role he played. Before an event, he would let someone choose a character for him by picking a name from a cowboy hat. When he put on a costume, he fully transformed into that character. For example, if he wore a preacher's robe, he would passionately discuss redemption with a loud voice, yet always showed kindness with his soft eyes and gentle touch. People who knew him well would often tease that Mel never stopped acting, even after the show was over. He always gave his all in his performances, whether in public or private. His personal life seemed to blend with his on-stage persona, making it difficult to distinguish between the real him and his character. But ultimately, it did not make a difference. Number 12, Charlie Rich. Charlie Rich, with his silver hair and soft voice, had a special love for mirrors, not just for music or lights. He did not just use mirrors for a quick look, he saw them as something more meaningful. Whether in a hotel room or backstage, he always requested long mirrors so he could see himself entirely. These mirrors were not just decorations, they were an important part of his life. Charlie enjoyed being close to a mirror when opening up in private. He did not do it because he was conceited, but because he thought seeing himself made his words more impactful. Sometimes, during an emotional moment, he would stop to adjust his hair or practice a seductive expression. That same expression would later captivate audiences at the Grand Ole Opry. He referred to it as quality control. Some people found it odd or excessive. Number 11, David Allan Coe. David Allan Coe had a unique talent for making every moment memorable and bold, including the quiet ones off stage. While other country singers were practicing love songs or signing autographs, Coe chose to stand out by sharing his audacious, homemade demo tapes filled with songs that were too wild for mainstream radio. He would often invite a few special fans backstage to listen to them. These weren't just times for people to listen. Coe would play the music, observe reactions carefully, and then wait. If a song lyric caused someone to blush or chuckle, he saw it as a signal to start writing immediately. He would eagerly jot down his ideas on a nearby napkin or piece of paper, feeling thrilled like a child catching fireflies. In his opinion, every response was important. He was convinced that it was crucial to capture genuine moments of inspiration, and he was never afraid to be daring or unconventional. Coe blurred the boundary between music and mischievous behavior. He did not just compose songs, he was searching for something more profound. These instances were not focused on flawlessness, but on sincerity, unexpectedness, and enjoyment. Each one added to his reputation. Number 10, Jerry Lee Lewis. Jerry Lee Lewis was more than just a piano player. He was a force to be reckoned with, always dressed to impress. While many people may be familiar with the scandal of his marriage to his 13-year-old cousin, there was much more to his story. Behind closed doors in the studio, away from the public eye, he embraced a deeper level of chaos. Instead of shying away from rumors, he welcomed them. His personal life was filled with peculiar activities that defied conventional rules, and the past was kept alive through vintage clothing and unspoken memories. He captivated audiences with his energetic piano playing and then delved into a mysterious side that only he comprehended. Breaking rules was not an accident for Jerry Lee, it was part of who he was. His rebelliousness became his trademark, attracting attention with every scandal. Instead of shying away, the public became more intrigued with each new controversy. Despite the chaos and damage to his reputation, his concerts continued to sell out. Jerry Lee did not offer apologies or try to conceal his actions. Instead, he turned the chaos into a spectacle alone. Number 9, Minnie Pearl. Minnie Pearl, known for the price tag on her hat, brought joy with her jokes and charm. However, beneath her cheery exterior, she had a private side that few knew about. She kept a collection of letters in cedar chests that revealed a different side of her life than what the public saw. The letters were not funny or casual. Instead, they described hidden nighttime walks under carnival lights and secret adventures in the shadows of striped tents. They had a boldness and excitement that did not match the soft voice people heard on stage. Those who saw them said each page was filled with teasing hints, some written in clever code, with words that hinted at her personal joys and flirtatious thoughts. She did not want people to read her notes, so she had trusted drivers to secretly deliver them. Despite telling funny stories on stage, only a few knew about the secret parties she hosted in New Orleans. Minnie wasn't just a performer, she was a mysterious figure. Number 8. Furlin Husky. Furlin Husky grew up in a strict environment where silence was seen as respectful. As a child, he was surrounded by hymns, church sermons, and a fear of heaven and hell. However, as he grew older, his perspective changed. The man who used to be reserved in church now created a world where faith and fantasy intertwined, where guilt no longer controlled him, and where freedom could be found in the shadows. He had a unique idea called confessional redemption. It was unusual and lovely. He hired expert carpenters to make foldable wooden confessionals, similar to the ones found in old churches. These boots were compact and traveled with him in large wardrobe trunks. In certain quiet hotels, Furlin would set up the booth behind closed doors. He would dim the lights, speak softly, and invite close friends to join him. They would pretend to confess sins that were not real, speaking quietly through the screen while he listened carefully and offered forgiveness. To people who were not familiar with the situation, it may have appeared strange, but for Furlin, it brought him peace. Number 7. Brenda Lee. Brenda Lee was known for her powerful singing voice on stage, but in her personal life, she carried herself with gentleness that gave an air of secrecy. Despite her small stature, she commanded attention on stage with her larger-than-life presence. She had the ability to evoke various emotions in her audience within minutes. However, her concept of romance offstage was more subtle and discreet. She enjoyed quiet moments that were inviting rather than empty. When she had feelings for someone, she did not announce it loudly, but instead whispered gently, creating a sense of intimacy. Sometimes, she did not say anything at all, choosing to communicate silently through gestures and eye contact. Brenda thought that quiet times made everything more meaningful. A small laugh exchanged in a calm room seemed more thrilling than a loud round of applause. Her soft mannerisms produced a special kind of enchantment that did not require any music. She was economical with her words, using each one thoughtfully. Simply with a sigh or a look, she could ignite a fire that seemed more powerful than any music. Number 6. Buck Owens. Buck Owens, known for his music style called Bakersfield sound, had a unique style in his music and a distinctive twang in his voice. He was great at entertaining audiences and keeping them engaged, but there was one aspect of his life that he kept private. Inside his tour bus, he kept a worn shoebox tightly shut, not containing money or awards, but dozens of instant photographs. His bandmates discovered the box during a late-night poker game while traveling. Tension filled the air briefly as Buck, typically composed, assertively grabbed the box. Without saying a word, he made it clear to everyone that the box's contents were private and not meant to be shared. After Buck passed away, rumors started spreading. His family looked through his things carefully, hoping to find the famous Polaroid pictures that were rumored to reveal stories of secret relationships and unknown escapades. Number 5. Dolly Parton. Dolly Parton was known for more than just her music and appearance. She had a fun and playful personality that brightened up any hotel hallway. She enjoyed surprising hotel staff with little games that only they would understand. She would order room service under a false name and change her voice, requesting something simple like a cup of tea or a new pillow. However, when the staff came, they would not just encounter a courteous guest. They would discover a small mystery. It could be a joke hidden behind a lamp or a rubber glove with money inside. Occasionally, she would leave parts of handwritten song lyrics, initiating a small adventure through the corridors. Initially, the workers were unaware of who was causing the trouble. However, once they discovered the culprit, word spread quickly throughout the building. Dolly's pranks and surprise presence made mundane work shifts at the hotel more interesting. The staff started talking quietly, being curious, and smiling whenever they went near her room. However, it wasn't only about playing pranks and having fun. In the same place, other famous people also expressed their gratitude in subtle ways. Number 4. Jean Shepard. Jean Shepard was famous for her powerful voice and songs that celebrated positive morals. She exuded elegance and a sense of tradition while performing on stage. Her fans appreciated her for singing about faithfulness, affection, and goodness. Yet, when the spotlight dimmed and the tour bus doors closed, a more private side of Jean began to emerge. Her bandmates were shocked as they saw her boldly breaking rules that she had previously sung about. She was attracted to danger, not the loud and reckless kind, but the quiet excitement of defying expectations. The more sacred or respectable a place was, the more she was tempted to break the unwritten rules. She actively sought out forbidden moments in unexpected locations, such as deserted stadiums after everyone had left, dark corners of church parking lots, and even behind closed doors in a governor's office. Jane viewed these hidden moments as more than just enjoyable. They were crucial to her creative process. These moments served as a reminder of the distinction between what people reveal and what they keep hidden, which in turn gave her songs their emotional depth. Number 3, Billy Sherrill. Billy Sherrill was famous in the music industry for his amazing arrangements. His music was gentle, touching, and deeply emotional. The fans loved the beautiful strings and melodies he produced, but those who knew him well thought his real talent wasn't just in the music. It was in a private room in his studio, illuminated by a single red lamp, where he would relax with vintage wine and create a mysterious rhythm that captivated everyone. When Billy sensed a connection with another artist, whether it was for inspiration, friendship, or something romantic, he would lower the studio lights except for the red lamp. He would then bring out a bottle of wine, pour 2 glasses, and play a mellow record. The atmosphere in the room would transform, with the air becoming more dense, the music sounding more intimate, and time appearing to pass at a different pace. People who collaborated with him would make jokes about the red lamp, thinking it brought good luck. However, they also discussed amongst themselves how the lamp had a mysterious influence. Some believed that the lamp not only contributed to making successful songs, but also intensified emotions. In the gentle glow of the lamp, the boundaries between creativity and intimacy became unclear. Writing music together sometimes evolved into something more profound. Conversations turned into glances, singing harmonies turned into physical contact, and music became a way to share personal secrets. Number 2, Hank Williams. Hank Williams was always on the move, never settling down. As his fame grew, he sought adventure and spontaneity. Rather than sleeping at home, he preferred to roam the Tennessee roads late at night, feeling a pull from the darkness. He did not simply journey, he ran away. Whenever he saw the light of a motel sign ahead, he would stop his car, feeling a sense of mystery in his heart. Using a different name each visit, he would check into the motel, pretending to be a traveling Bible salesman or a forgotten blues musician. He got thrilled by staying in these small, unknown rooms. To him, they weren't just places to rest. They were getaways from his true self or societal expectations. During the early hours of the morning, he'd rendezvous with hidden partners, lost in fleeting moments that only lasted a night. When daylight came, the only thing he left was a signed photograph tucked under a pillow, a soft farewell to someone he wouldn't see again. Hank had already left, his car following another solitary light on the highway, continually seeking, continually vanishing. Number 1, Marty Robbins. Marty Robbins lived a private life away from the spotlight, dressing up in capes and masks to attend secret parties where he could be anonymous and free from his cowboy image. These parties were not about fame, but about escaping into a different world where no one recognized him. Visitors would quietly talk about a kind cowboy who came by himself, talking softly about deserts and fights as if they were poetry. He always left before morning. All that remained was the pleasant scent of cologne and the light mark of guitar fingers on nice glasses. By early morning, Marty appeared as a common traveler moving from one town to another. However, in his personal notebooks, he wrote down experiences that seemed more like fantasies than actual memories. What do you think about this country music stars? Let us know in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, like, share, and subscribe to this channel for more celebrity gist. Before you go, watch the other videos on your screen.